All right. Viva Nunetics. I should have had mine on had I known. That's great. All right. Salam alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
My. That's a wonderful sight. Thank you. All right. How was your martial arts training?
Hmm?
How was your martial arts training?
Oh, jujitsu?
Yeah,
Good. It went well.
that's good. Good. All right. One day when I meet you in person, you show me a few moves.
I fought my teacher today.
Really?
Yeah.
What was the result?
I won, but I think he was playing easy.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe you just really won. I don't know. All right. Okay. Did anybody videotape it?
My mom did.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm raring to get going. Got another young student coming in right after we finish. And
So like
yeah,
7:30.
7:30. Yeah, 7:30. We're going to go an hour as usual. So we'll break it a few minutes before 7:30. You didn't have any way to go, did you?
Huh?
You're not leaving me, are you?
No.
You leaving me early today? What's up? What's going on now?
No, I'm just asking.
Oh, okay. You
How
look a
I
little
like.
you look a little taller this week than you did last week. You taking growing pills or something? Yeah, well,
Oh,
that's what's making you look tall. Nunetics. All right, let me find you work. And let's get us started. We're gonna pick up where we left off last week. So I'm going to read a couple of things just to get us back on track. We were talking about the differences between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And all of this is in relation to the word dua. And as we said, the word dua begins with the Arabic letter dal. So we're going to be talking about all of that good stuff. All right. So we begin with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We invite Allah into this conversation for quality assurance to make sure that the mercy is always present while we're learning, that Allah have mercy on our brains so that our brains can actually absorb this higher learning. So we mentioned that the conscious mind controls the thinking. That's the part of the brain that's up front. They're called frontal lobes, actually. And it controls our conscious thinking, the things that we are aware of. Then we have the subconscious mind, located towards the back of the brain, sort of, kind of. And the subconscious mind controls what?
um, memories.
Yeah. And what else? It's right there on the paper. Go ahead.
Huh?
What does it control again?
Subconscious mind controls emotion and memory.
Exactly. All right. So I was saying to you last week that this is how our relationship with Allah should be. It should be a two-way street, as they say. So if we practice becoming and then remaining conscious of Allah, those thoughts will eventually become firmly rooted in our subconscious mind. And if you remember, we compared the letter dal to the firmly rooted teeth. You remember that?
Yeah.
All right. So if what we take into our conscious mind becomes firmly rooted, do you remember how we said it becomes firmly rooted? Anything that you're consciously paying attention to, how does it become firmly rooted into the subconscious mind?
How does um
How does a conscious thing that you're thinking about right now, that you're paying attention to,
repeating it?
there you go, my man. All right. Repeating it over and over again. Okay. That's what's going to cause it to become firmly lodged or firmly rooted into the subconscious mind. It's really that simple. If you think about somebody or some event or something that happened, especially if there was a lot of emotion attached to it, you keep doing that over and over again, it's going to be firmly rooted eventually in your subconscious mind. Now, if you don't repeat it, you could very well just forget about it, right? Maybe 10 minutes later, you done forgot the phone number that you just remembered, or anything like that, or a person you just met, you might forget their name 10 minutes later after they're gone or whatever, because you're not repeating their name or you're not visualizing their face in front of you all of the time, like you would for somebody that you're really, really interested that you met, right? So that's how the
Well,
mind
sometimes
works.
you met them long enough so that you like it's like imprinted in your brain. You know their
Yeah,
name.
yeah. And there had to be something impressive about them that was able to impress upon your mind something that you felt was worth remembering. Now, it could be something bad. What kind of bad thing could happen to a person that could also impress a memory into the brain?
Traumatization,
Say it again.
like trauma.
Oh, yeah. Traumatization. Yeah. Very good. That's right. Give me two other things.
Um, maybe like they gave the first person give you a cigarette. They give it. That's
Ah, okay. Yeah. Doing something you ain't got no business, right? Doing something that you know is wrong and somebody keeps trying to get you to do it anyway. Yeah. That could definitely cause a lasting negative impression or memory. Can you squeeze one more out?
like a guy forcing you to kill somebody.
Oh boy, that's high on the list right there. Exactly. Exactly. And the other one I was thinking about was death. When people close to us die, sometimes that can be traumatic, right?
Yeah.
Depending on who it is. Some people who we don't know that well, we hear about them dying and it doesn't mean a whole lot. But, when it's grandma, auntie, or, uncle or mother, father, or whatever, when it's close to you like that, child or something, then that death of that person is firmly lodged into our subconscious mind. So that's basically how it works. We're going to get into some of the details of how that works in just a moment. So as I mentioned, the word conscious means with choice. Con means with, and
Mean
chis means, say it again.
choice.
There you go.
They have the same sound.
Yes, that's right. The same sound. Not necessarily the exact same letters, but the SC sound in conscious matches the CH sound in choice. Even though there's no H in conscious, you can still hear the chis, the CH sound, conscious, right?
Mhm.
Right. So once ideas become buried within the subconscious, you no longer need to think about them anymore in order to believe them. So if somebody's trying to get you to believe something that you don't already believe, you just might turn your head away or your ears away. I don't want to hear that. But if somebody keeps repeating something to you and you eventually begin to believe them, if they keep repeating it, there will come a time when you don't have to think about it anymore. You say, yeah, I already know that. I already believe that. So you don't have to keep repeating that to me. It's already in my subconscious mind. Now, you're a farmer. I call you a farmer. And a farmer doesn't think about the seeds after planting them. We spoke about that last week. Once you plant those seeds, you just trust Allah after that. You trust the Creator to allow those seeds to grow because you have nothing else to do with it, basically. You're not the one who brings the rain, are you?
No, no.
You're not.
The only other things you could do like put fertilizer on it
Yeah.
and like so that kind of stuff. But other than that, you can't do anything else about it.
Yeah. 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 That's a good observation. You can bring the fertilizer or you can even bring a watering, what do you call that? When you water the
Sprinkler,
plant, huh? A beaker, you said? Yeah. Yeah.
sprinkler.
Yeah, you can bring that and you can put some water there, but you can't do what the rains do. You can do that for your little pot on your windowsill inside the house, but you can't bring the kind of water necessary to, water a whole section of a farm if you're dealing with agriculture. Yeah, you need the rains to come for that one. So we do what we can do. We plant the seed and then we let nature do what she does, right? because we believe that nature will do what she's supposed to do in the season that she's supposed to do it. So if we follow our end of the bargain by planting the seed in the proper season, then when the season comes that we're supposed to harvest that crop, we're faithful. See, we're faithful that Allah is going to allow that crop to come up so that we can eat from that field, or we can sell it. If we have an over amount, we can take it to the market and make money, or we can find people who are not advantaged like we are, who might not, have food themselves, that's adequate to continue feeding themselves. And we can share that food with the homeless people, or share that food with people who just don't have the favor on them like we might have in the abundance of food that we might be dealing with. Right. But the bottom line is that all of it depends on faith. You do what you can do, you do as much as you can do, and then you allow Allah to do what he does. So we gave you this picture last week when we were speaking about the dua and the two-way relationship between you and Allah. And we gave you the root letters for dua, which are dal, ain, waw. And it means to seek, to desire, to ask, to demand, to call upon, to invoke, to ascribe, to cry out, to call out to pray. And we know that all of these, in this sense, are referring to your personal two-way relationship with Allah. Not with any human, but with Allah. Okay? And this wow here, we didn't discuss that letter, the W in the Arabic language. Wow means to connect. Repeat that for me.
Wow means to connect.
That's correct. That is correct. And if I were using that wow in an Arabic sentence, it would be the word wa, W-A, wa. And the word wa means and. When do you use and in a sentence?
To add something.
Yeah, that's right. And when you add something, you're connecting it to something else that you already said, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to the store tomorrow, and after I come from the store, then I'm going to the gym, or I'm going to my martial arts training, or, whenever you put and, it means you're not finished talking. You have something else that you want to add. So you're right. To add, to include something new or something else so that the whole thing you're talking about can be complete. So that's how wa is used in Arabic. So if the word or the letter wa is a part of what makes the word dua, then it means that you are connecting to Allah. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're not complete until you connect with Allah. How about that?
Dua.
Yeah.
Dua. Like you not finish the sentence yet. Dua. And
Yeah.
not until you pray, it starts connecting.
That's right. There you go. All right. Let's keep this going here. So my last comments to you before you start reading, this was from last week. I said that our true beliefs are represented by ideas which have been planted into our subconscious minds, especially through repetition. Does the farmer plant seeds repetitively throughout the year?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's the same idea. The same way the farmer plants seeds in the right season so that he can get the harvest during harvest time, the fall season. We plant ideas into our subconscious mind. So what would our subconscious mind be if this were that scene that I'm painting for you with the farmer? What part of this picture would the subconscious mind be playing?
Memory.
Yeah, that's right. And memory is located where? In what part of the mind? Conscious or subconscious?
The back brain.
Yeah. Is that the conscious or the subconscious?
Subconscious.
Exactly. You're on a roll, Mahdi. All right. Absolutely true. So the idea would be the seeds. Those ideas are the seeds. And you plant those seeds, if you plant them deep enough into the soil and they begin to unleash their roots. What's that first root we spoke about? What's it called again? Tap. That's right. And it goes which direction?
Down, down.
Down. That's right. Down. Okay. When it goes down, now we're talking about it going from a subconscious position to pardon me, from a conscious position into the subconscious mind. That's the tap root. That's what's creating the emotion on the most part, the lasting emotion. And that's also what's creating the memory, the lasting memories. We got temporary memory in the conscious mind. We got temporary emotions, you know, you
Like
got,
your temporary memory. It's like you only need to memorize this for a little bit, and then after that you can forget it.
yeah, yeah,
You don't need it after that period.
exactly. Somebody might have said something to you and you laughed at it. And then, like the next day, they say, "You remember that joke I told you yesterday?" No, you said, "Well, no, tell it to me again." I don't remember. I remember you saying something that I might have laughed at, but I don't remember what the exact joke is. So it didn't go into the deep, deep part of the memory. It wasn't rooted in the memory. All right. So Allah says that He created the human being to grow like plants grow. It's a beautiful statement in the Quran. He created all of us as human beings to grow like plants grow. So just like plants need to begin with seeds, human minds need to begin with ideas. As soon as a baby is born, that baby starts to recognize language or people talking to it or pictures around it or smells in the environment and things it hears and sees and tastes and touches and feels. And all of those are seeds going into the baby's brain as new ideas. Just like we plant new seeds in the yard, the human infant plants new ideas into the mind. That didn't bore you, did it? I know you're just
No,
tired. You're tired from the day. I know you by now, right? All right. So that's what we're talking about. The human being as a plant. Now it's your turn to read.
planting is a two-way connection, just like making dua represents a two-way relationship between you and Allah. When you make constant dua, we are planting dependency on Allah firmly into our subconscious mind through our conscious attention to His guidance in the Quran.
All right. Sorry for making that sentence so daggone long. I didn't realize how long it was until you read it just now. But you understood it. Can you give me back some of that?
Planting is a two-way connection. It's like do I why equals and you're connecting to Him and we are depending on Allah. It's we're how do I say it? We're connecting with Him. We're depending on Him to we're giving Him faith and trust and that kind of stuff, and we depend on Him because He knows what's best for us and and we ask guidance from Him and we look in the Quran and stuff like that.
That's great. That's great. Very good explanation. Okay. So that's dependency on Allah. And if we do that over and over again, as you're saying, then it's going to become firmly rooted into our subconscious minds. All right. So the key here is to pay conscious attention to Allah's guidance in the Quran. It won't just jump into your subconscious just because you open the book. You have to read the book. You have to pay conscious attention, meaning you have to choose to pay attention. Remember conscious? What does conscious mean again?
Oh, with choice.
Yeah. So you have to begin reading the Quran with conscious attention. And that's true for anything you're trying to learn. If you're learning how to drive, you know how to drive a tractor. When you're learning how to drive, you have to be paying conscious attention. Make sure you don't run over any small animals or run into a tree or anything like that. But once you learn it, then you do it over and over again to the point where your subconscious mind memorizes it. And then you can
So
drive and pay attention to some other thing, not necessarily to exactly what you're doing when you're driving. Go ahead.
it's like part part of the choice, subconscious, part, um, part of the choice. It's like when your subconscious, it's deeply rooted, so you only need to make part of the choice. Like, you need to know which way to turn if you have a specific location. But the driving part, um, all the steering and that stuff, it's already memorized, so it's subconscious. But
Mhm.
like you want the destination is mostly conscious.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's right. Even though you're not there yet, right? That's the
Yeah.
part that's in your conscious mind because you want to make sure that you get to your destination. All right. And it's like what we believe. We believe that if we're good people and we follow the guidance of Allah, that when we leave this life, where do we go? Where do we hope to go?
Um, Heaven,
Yeah, heaven, paradise,
Jannah.
Jannah. Yeah, right. So that means we have to pay conscious attention to making it to Jannah, just like you were saying. You pay conscious attention to the destiny to make sure that you're making all of the right turns in the road and stopping at all the right stop signs and waiting for the go sign to let you go and all that. You have to pay attention to all of that if you intend to make it to that part of your conscious attention that you're trying to get to, called Jannah. So it's the same thing. Let's keep going. Go.
Making constant and sincere dua can condition our subconscious mind to depend more and more on Allah for answers by remembering Allah as the source creator of everything.
All right. So look at this deal we got here. We ask people for things and we might get it, we might not, right? Depending on
Mm-hmm.
if they have it. And even if they have it, depending on whether they want to give it to us, and even if they choose to give it to us, they might not give us all of what we're asking for. So when we depend on people for things and organizations and companies and whatever it is you're asking for, you might get it, you might not get it, depending especially on if they actually have it or not. But because Allah is the source creator of everything and he owns everything absolutely, then it's never going to be a situation where he doesn't have it. And that's the reason you didn't get it. Sometimes we might not get it because we didn't earn it. But it's not that Allah didn't have what you were asking him for. Sometimes you don't get it because it ain't good for you. You know what I mean? What you're asking for is going to ruin your life. You understand? So Allah will hold it back because he knows the future and he won't give you that thing at least until you become qualified. Makes
Like
sense? Yeah.
like flying a plane. You're like, I want a plane, and you're like 7 years old.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like what?
Yeah. Or sometimes little children, even your age, will say, Mommy, I want to get married. What are you talking about? You want to get married? You're only 11. Yeah, but you look so happy when I see you and daddy, y'all are married and you look happy. I want to be happy like you, Mommy. I want to be, we don't know what we're talking about. But that's one of those things like I want to fly a plane, right? Now you have to get a little older and you have to train for it and you have to be qualified.
You have to be more mature.
Absolutely.
You have to show it.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. All right, let's keep going.
The word dua begins with the letter dal, as we discussed, and the letter dal somewhat resembles a boomerang.
Ah, okay. And what do you do with the boomerang?
Throw it, comes back to you.
That's right. So keep reading.
Both carry the idea of going out and returning, just like we do through a door.
And what did we say the letter Dal means?
Firmly rooted.
It's right here.
Oh, door, door. I meant
Yeah,
door.
yeah, yeah. The Arabic letter Dal, D-A-L, means door. Okay. So all three of these, this is the Arabic letter Dal, and it somewhat resembles a boomerang. That's not where they got it. There was no boomerang, I don't think, when the Arabic language was being developed.
Then it had a weapon that resembled
That's
it,
true. I think that might be the truth, that they did have a weapon that resembled that they
like
would
a
maybe,
sickle.
yeah, like a sickle, or even like something that they might have thrown out, some early version of the boomerang that might have hit the animal in the head or something, or slowed it down or something. And but I don't think they did it for sport, and I don't think they did it in a way where it would return to them like the boomerang does, right? But it
Mhm.
still, still pretty much resembles it. Yeah, that's just an interesting thing that it resembles the letter dal, and dal means to come back and forth or to go back and forth through a door, just like the boomerang goes out and comes back to you. So both are carrying the idea of going out and returning just like we do through a door. When you go out this door, people expect you to come back unless you're being, your house is being repossessed. You might not make it back in past the lock that they put on there. But generally, if you leave the house in the morning, you're expected to come back to the house in the afternoon or in the evening from school or from work or from vacationing or whatever. You're expected at some point to come back through the door. And that's what the letter D in Arabic means. Dal, two ways. That's why it's on the word dua. So read from here.
So remember, dua is a two-way communication between you and Allah.
All righty then. Now we're going to go into some deepness.
Oh, I remember this.
All
Nice.
right. Go ahead.
What is the subconscious mind?
All right. So what you're remembering is this picture of the iceberg, right?
Hmm?
And the part on top is which mind?
Conscious,
And the part
subconscious.
massive, they say 95% of it is beneath the conscious mind as the subconscious. Now you see this line right here that represents the sea level.
Hmm?
That's the threshold that we're
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's the door. A threshold is something that you step across when you're going from one space into another space. You have to step across the threshold.
Like this, like a tiny space between the door and the.
Yes, yes, exactly. All right. And that tiny space between the door in Arabic is called El Bab.
Albab.
Yeah, B-A-B, El Bab.
Albab.
What English word might you get from Bab if you added another letter?
Bad? No,
No,
not bad.
no, the same letters, B-A-B, but add another letter at the end of that, and it's going to give you another English word. Add the letter Y.
Oh, baby. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know you're not thinking babby. That's why most people don't get it when I asked her. Yeah,
No, I was like, what? I was start from A's like bad.
yeah, yeah. Hey, but you know the word babble, right?
Babo?
You ever hear the word babble? Babble. You ever hear that word?
Babb.
L-E.
Babble. Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
think you said
somebody's
bab.
babbling. If somebody's babbling, what does that mean?
They're like blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, yeah, because they call that baby talk.
I thought you said babo. I was like, what's a babo?
No, 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 babble, right? Baby talk. All right. So why is the baby called baby? What does bab mean again?
Door?
Not the door itself,
The threshold.
the threshold. So what is the threshold through which the baby enters this world?
The womb.
Huh?
Uh,
Yeah, yeah. So once you're delivered, you've come across the threshold, right? Into this life. So you
mm,
don't live at the threshold. If you're at the door, you're either on one side of the door preparing to enter into the next space, but you're doing it by coming across the threshold. So the life of the baby is really just a threshold that the human being is stepping across. He has to come across that threshold first before he starts doing what he or she needs to do in the next space or in the next room. Okay.
mhm.
Yeah. So it's just a threshold. Just keep that in mind. So we're not supposed to stay in the baby state, in the baby stage, totally dependent. That's what that's saying. Some people become older than you, Mahdi, and they're still dependent on their parents or dependent on other people or dependent on the government, just like they were dependent on their mommy when they were born. And that shows a lack of growth because as you grow, you're supposed to be becoming more and more independent. What does independent mean?
Well, it's more like a lack of maturity growth
Yeah, yeah. That's what's involved in being that level
or
of
mental
dependent.
growth
Say it again.
or mental growth.
Yeah. So
It's
how many different kinds of growth are there for a human being?
mm,
Name them.
mental growth, physical growth. Well, I think there are only like two. What happened to your
Mm,
camera?
well, think about the triune brain that we always talk about. All right. So let's continue to read.
Your growth. What's it called? Your your growth.
Okay.
Your
Let's start with the neocortex.
okay.
What does that control? The top
Um,
brain,
the what?
the top part of the three parts of your brain, the top part called the neocortex. What does it control?
Oh, it controls the thinking at the moment.
Yeah.
Um, sense. Wait, sensory.
No, thinking is enough. That's good enough. That's the main thing that is controlling your thinking, your
Okay.
decisions, right? How you make decisions consciously. So it's controlling the conscious part of the brain. So you can grow consciously is the point, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Now the middle brain, the limbic brain or the mammalian brain, what is that controlling?
Emotion,
Yes,
emotion,
absolutely.
things, and
And memory, remember?
memory.
They always go together, emotions and memory. And you can grow emotionally, right? You can become
Mhm.
emotionally mature, the word you chose, mature.
Well, I mean, with the brain, it's more like mental growth.
Yeah. The mind includes the emotions because
Well,
have
isn't your emotion?
when you have feelings about something, it's going to create certain thoughts in your head. You're going to get thoughts behind those feelings,
Well, your soul controls your emotions, doesn't it?
controlling everything. The soul is controlling, that's like the driver in the front seat. Yeah. So
Well, then,
the soul is not just controlling your emotions. The soul is also responsible for how your intellect develops. Your soul includes your intellect as well as your emotions, as well as your instincts. That was the final part of the brain, the instinctive brain on the bottom.
well, then, you could your 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 connection or your connection with Allah could grow.
Absolutely. On all of those levels, right?
Mm.
He created all of those levels. So you should be able to grow on all of those levels. How do you grow instinctively? Now, it's the instinct of the baby. Remember the threshold, the bab, the baby. It's the instinct of the baby to just, you know what defecate is? And
You know, poop.
you know what urinate is, right? So it's
Yeah.
the baby's instinct to do that, right? Sometimes the mother will be changing the diaper and all of a sudden, the baby can't help it. It's the baby's instinct. So how does the baby grow instinctively from that point?
It kind of controls instinct.
Yeah. Yeah. It has to learn to control its urges. That's an
It can.
urge.
It's reptilian brain, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a reptilian brain urge. So the person has to learn how to control their urges, right? Okay, I know I have to go, but I have to wait till I get to the restroom. I can't just do it in my pants. I'm 17 years old now. I can't just be doing it, anywhere that the urge hits me. So that's how you grow your instinctive drives by causing them to become more disciplined. That's what fasting is for. I'm hungry, but I'm not going to eat right now because I need to discipline the urge to eat and drink and sleep and play. All of these are urges that the average animal has. The average animal loves to play. The cubs, the kittens, they love to play, especially when they're young. But as they grow older and they have to learn how to hunt and how to take care of their own families and all, then they play less and less and less because they have to control the urge or the desire, another word for urge. They have to control that urge to just do anything anytime they feel like doing it. They can't
You
just
can't.
respond to feelings like they used to. Go ahead.
You can't. You can't just. Or a wolf cannot just just stop in the middle of a hunt and just start playing around with a stick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Well,
or you might get killed out there, right?
I mean, the wolf is very complicated. It's weird how the wolf works. It's very well. The wolf sometimes, for some reason, in the middle of a hunt, they'll just stop and just walk away. Like sometimes they do that. It just happens. Sometimes we just don't know what's going on in the wolf's mind and how all these sensory organs and what they do happen.
Yeah. No, science is still studying that. So we're finding out new and better information every day when we study these creatures and when we study ourselves.
There's
Yeah.
things with wolves that we're probably never going to figure out because
No, well, as long as we live and breathe, we're not going to ever figure out everything about anything. Only Allah knows everything about anything. So we just try to do the best that we can for our day and time and our circumstances. That's all Allah asks us to do, to improve upon what He's given us. He gives us a knowledge, but He never expects for us to be all knowledgeable about everything. Never. Not even about one thing can you be all knowledgeable. Not even about yourself. And you're with yourself 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but you'll never know everything there's to know about even you or me. I won't know. I can't even tell you about my dreams and why they happen the way they happen, right? I don't know why I dream like I dream or why I dreamt about what I dreamt about last night. That was out of my control.
or why you dreamt what you dreamt last week.
Who knows? And a matter of fact, it might not even be committed to my long-term memory because sometimes if you don't write it down as soon as you wake up, guess what happens to that dream? Oof, it's gone. All right, we're going to try and get through the rest of this. So I'm going to not interrupt you except when necessary. So continue to read. What is the subconscious mind? Remember now, we're still talking about the letter Dal and how it's the doorway between two spaces. In this instance, we're talking about the space called the conscious mind, where information comes in the door, and the subconscious mind, where that information ends up in the subconscious part of the brain. So continue to read.
Um, the subconscious mind is the part of the mind that is not in the state of awareness. This part of the mind contains memory banks, thought generators, emotion generators, a sensory input controller, and a dedicated storage for habits.
Very good. What is sensory? What does that mean?
Touch and stuff like that. Sensory organs.
Right. How many of them are there?
There's
How many senses?
6. Wait, no, wait. Oh, yeah, five.
Yeah, 5 basic senses. Some people say we have a 6th sense, and I believe that, but it's not important for what we're talking about.
I mean, we can't use it yet. For all we
Well,
know.
some can, some can't. Depends on how you look at it. We'll talk about that at some other time.
Like most average people, like every day.
Yeah, this is true. All right. And you have a dedicated storage for habits. Okay. So continue reading.
The subconscious mind is basically responsible for recording events gathered through 5 sensory organs, producing thoughts or emotions, and providing habits or autopilot programs to the conscious mind.
Very good. And autopilot just means the things you do automatically without having to think about it consciously, right? Continue to read.
In this article, you'll be acquainted with the various parts of the subconscious mind and the functions of the subconscious mind. Parts of the subconscious mind, functions of the subconscious mind. Basic functions of the subconscious mind are recording events. The subconscious mind is always in recording mode. Whatever gets your attention, the subconscious mind puts the information into its memory bank. However, everything recorded in the subconscious mind can be continuously remembered for long.
Can be or can't be?
Oh, can't be. Never mind.
Okay. All right.
Subconscious mind also remembers through rehearsal or repeated actions. Human memory is like the captivity.
One second.
One second.
You got it. Take your time.
Capacitive memory
Right.
of a digital computer. When you repeat something for long periods of time, you refresh the circuits for the particular information and it gets remembered by your computer.
Great. Keep going.
Controlling habits. Through repetition, you have developed many habits in your life. The habits are passed to the processing unit without much intervention of the conscious mind. Habits run on autopilot within your mind. Suppose you drive a car. You don't need to tell the leg to push the brake whenever required. Similarly, we can read the English letters and words without much intervention of pattern recognition.
What is this on the left?
Computer.
It's computer memory.
All computer memory.
And on the right?
Our human memory.
That's right. And all of the aspects of that memory. Emotion, recall, all of that. All right. Read the conclusion.
Conclusion. The subconscious mind has unlimited storage. Habits are the most effective tool to unfold the power of the subconscious mind. Did you know successful people have a habit of making habits? However, your intelligence depends upon what you provide and practice throughout life. If you practice distraction and provide unwanted thoughts to the subconscious mind, willingly or unwillingly, you may live a life full of distraction.
Okay, so some very important points are being made at this conclusion. All right, so I'm going to ask you about some of these statements. The subconscious mind has unlimited storage. That means you can remember and keep remembering. Some people might get Alzheimer's when they get older, right? And they might lose some of their memory capacity. But ideally, a human being can actually continue to remember from the day that child is born until the day that adult dies. You can continue to remember. Maybe not everything you used to remember, but you remember some things. Even if you have Alzheimer's and you're losing your memory, you'll remember that that's your son or that's your daughter or that's your wife, or you remember that this is food and I need to eat it, or this makes me feel good, this makes me laugh, So even if you lose some memory, which even the Quran says can happen, all right? It doesn't mean that you forget about every single thing that you've ever remembered. No, and it doesn't mean that you'll never remember anything new. So we just have to try to live the kind of life that will support memory and continued memory, because there are things we can eat, there are exercises we can do, there are thoughts that we can think that will help us continue to remember at least the important things in our lives. So this article says habits are the most effective tool to unfold the power of the subconscious mind. So people hear the word habit and, they just think, oh, like smoking cigarettes, or, they think of, every time people hear the word habit, they think of something bad. Yeah, I have bad habits, but they don't realize that you can also have good habits. Why don't you tell me what a couple of good habits are?
Remembering to feed the animals.
Good. You can give me 4 or 5 of those. Give me some more.
Remembering to do your word, to wash the dishes. Remembering to remember stuff.
Like what other stuff?
Like feeding the animals.
Well, let me ask you this. What if you forgot how to walk? You had to remember that. That had to become a habit.
Well, yeah, you have to remember something. Like that's crucial. You have to remember how to walk, or else you can't move.
That's right.
You can move, but it's gonna be very slow.
Yeah, you can injure the brain, as you probably know, in the part of the brain that is responsible for those habits, for you walking and talking. You can injure the brain, get a stroke, right, or anything like that, and you can forget how to walk and how to talk because you develop those based on habit. But if the circuitry in the brain that supports habits is interfered with, you can forget how to do a whole lot of stuff that you used to do. So habits are very, very important, and they're tied directly into your emotions. Speak.
You could almost forget. You could almost forget anything You could forget that you should eat food.
Yeah, people do that and they lose weight and they keep losing weight and they refuse to eat. And you know what happens after that?
Death.
Yeah. So it's very important that we pay close attention to our habits. And that means the good habits. If you get up in the morning, you get up early and you do something constructive, that's a great habit. And you want to keep doing that. But if you get up in the morning and don't do a whole lot of anything, and then at the end of the day, you're trying to do everything that you should have done early in the morning. See, that's a bad habit. So we want to replace bad habits with good habits. Can you give me an example of replacing a bad habit with a good habit? First, name a bad habit. It doesn't have to
Respons
be you. It doesn't have to be, yeah, good. Okay, say it again.
Irresponsibility.
Yeah, that's right. Irresponsibility. Give me something specific though.
No, okay, like forget to you forget to close the door in your house.
Yeah,
Just leave
yeah,
it open.
yeah. And then the cold weather comes in, and then you got to spend more money on the heat bill, and right, and you leave
And
windows
bugs.
open. Yeah, you leave windows open after you while you're going out. And I mean, you might like it cool, but you know, now for the next 8 hours, the window's going to be open until somebody else comes home to close it. So that's a bad habit. How
And
do you, how,
maybe
how do you change that?
remember to do it. You
Exactly.
know,
Now,
you
what
gotta
kinds of ways can you remember to do it?
stay conscious of what you're doing.
Give me another way.
Um, do doing it over and over again.
Give me another way.
Um, writing a note for
Yeah.
yourself.
I was about to say, what if you don't remember to close it? You write
Like you
yourself a note, or
stick it on the door or something like that.
yeah, what's another way? That's a great way. If you don't remember to do it and you don't write yourself a note, what other thing can you do?
Ask someone. Ask someone.
Yeah, ask somebody to remind you. Right? Or you know what I do? Like, I don't always remember it's a Wednesday and that we have a class because sometimes my Wednesday becomes my Tuesday. All my days start blending in. So as soon as I get up and I remember, oh, this is Wednesday, Mahdi time, right? I set the alarm on my clock. So even if I didn't remember that I have a 6 o'clock class with you, when my alarm goes off, now I'm going to remember that there's a reason why it went off. Why did I set this clock? So I could remember Mahdi's class. See? So even your alarm clock can help you to remember. Doesn't have to be a person reminding, but it's something you did that triggered that memory, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Right? So that's a part of making a bad habit into a good habit or turning a bad habit into a good habit. Okay. And he says here successful people have a habit of making habits. So we're not talking about trying to erase all habits. That's impossible. And you would suffer and die if you took away all habits.
Like you forget to eat dinner or lunch or breakfast. She's like,
Yeah.
I like, what's dinner? It's like you eat food at that time. Why?
Oh, that's bad shape right there. When you get you get to that point, you're in bad shape, right? So
It's like it's this feeling where you start
yeah,
suffering in a way. Your stomach feels it.
yeah. But you know what would be a great thing? When you get up in the morning, let me see if you can do this. Now, I'm not going to give this to you as a homework assignment. You have to just do this because you want to do it. When you get up in the morning, I want you to write down, or before you go to bed, write down 5 new habits that you'd like to begin working on. Meaning 5 things that you want to do that you're going to choose consciously to do every day because you want to make them a new set of habits. Can you think of one right now and then do the other 4 in the morning or before you go to bed tonight? A new habit, something that you're not doing already that needs to be done, that maybe your mom and dad will be happy to know that you started doing.
Like clean my room.
Cleaning your room.
Yeah.
Okay. How often are you doing that already?
Um, I always don't have a specific time.
Okay. Do you do it at least once a day? Do you do it once every other day? How often do you make your bed when you get up? Is that every morning when you get up that you do that? Do you make it on the
I do it every night.
weekends? You do it every night. Well, you got to lay in it every night. So you're saying you let it be undone during the day and then you make it just to get into it?
Yeah.
I used to do that. I used to do
I
that.
like
I'm gonna tell you what happened with me. I did that until my friends started to like coming to my house. And my mother would say, take them in your room, take those boys in your room. I don't want them out here in the living room. I'm trying to look at television. And then when I had to take them into a messy room, it bothered me. So I started at that point when I became a teenager, like you're about to become, I started making sure that my room was clean just in case some of my friends wanted to come over for lunch or come over the weekend. My room was always in shape. You understand?
mhm,
So that was how developed better habits. Right?
mhm.
Yeah. There was another habit that I developed when I was young. I used to not like vegetables, especially spinach. Yeah. Right. So my mother would try to do everything she could to get me to eat uh, spinach and collard greens. Oh, no. I'd put it in my mouth and I'd wait for her to leave the kitchen and I'd run to the bathroom and blah until she caught me. And then all of a sudden, for some strange reason, I just started liking it. Maybe because somebody I liked it, that kind of thing. You eat spinach? Yeah. You haven't you watched Popeye? Oh, yeah, yeah.
Maybe
I,
it's because so the way I think it is that when as you grow, your taste starts changing
true.
because as your body grows, some things change and you need different like according to your body, you some stuff like when you're really thirsty, like you're
Mm-hmm.
really really thirsty. For some
Mm-hmm.
reason, the water tastes sweet.
It does.
So
It
it's like
does.
body tells you it's like you need it, like you really do need it right now. Like drink it now,
Yeah, yeah. You're absolutely right about that.
and it makes it favorable so that you drink it.
Yeah. That happens during Ramadan when people fast during Ramadan. They're so used to drinking like soda pop and orange juice during the year. And then when Ramadan comes and it's time to break the fast, they don't even want to drink orange juice and soda pop and all of that stuff. They want water because that water has a taste like nothing else has. So sometimes you can be denied something or deprived of something in order to appreciate that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like sometimes we don't appreciate our parents until we have to stay away from them. We go into the army or something and boot camp, and then we're away for 2 years, and then while you're away, you say, "Oh man, I really miss my parents." And by the time you get home on leave, or by the time you get discharged, you can't wait to see your family because you miss them. I'm sorry, I was about to shed a tear just now. All right, we have 1 minute left before my new students come in. The Khan family. I love those two boys. I think they're 9 and 11 years old, or 9 and 12, and they're in your age category, somewhere in between there. And they're very impressed by you, so that's a great thing. All right, so I'm going to prepare for them, and we'll pick up here next week. But we're going to be talking about the word salat,
What are
which is related to the word dua. Go ahead.
what are their first names? What are their first names?
Rayan
Mm-hmm.
and Furqan.
Oh, okay. I thought I knew one of them because kind of one of my friends were named Khan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a very popular name.
Khan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Star Trek turned it into a bad name. The Wrath of Khan. You might not have heard of that in the Star Trek series, the movie series. There was a really, really bad guy named Khan. I'm going to get you, Captain Kirk. You don't know anything about that.
Well, I know Star Trek.
You know the new Star Trek. I'm talking about the
No, I know the old one.
old movies when they first started making movies. And I think he was in the series. He might have been a part of the television. I think he was. a part of the original television series from the 60s or 70s, whenever that was on. Way
I
before.
know the old version.
Okay. All right.
Uh,
But the word, just so you know, the word Khan is not a bad word. The word Khan, it just means leader, the person in charge. That's all.
there's
Okay.
there's like two birds attacking a vulture.
Two birds attacking a vulture. It's time to
Yeah, I
go.
don't know why.
It's time to go, buddy. All right. I will see you this time. Well, not even this time. I'll see you a little bit earlier during the regular time, 6 o'clock
Yeah.
p.m. Eastern Standard Time next week. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. It's a pleasure, as always, being with you as I greet you in the greetings of peace. Salamun alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
All right. Be
Don't
well.
forget to buy.
There you go. That's right. That's right. Stand up and say it again.
Don't forget to buy the genetic shirt.
That's right. Wonderful. I'm going to be wearing mine next week, man, so we can be Bopsy twins, as we used to call them, right? All right. Take care.